And welcome back, everyone, to part 5 with Deku and Zanpakuto, the Hyōrinmaru edition. So I intended to get this out yesterday, but I just didn't get around to it. Things got away from me. But we're here now. I'm doing this and the Naruto one, plus the Pokemon video. I've already done my box office one, because that was the easiest video to do. So let's just get into this. We would catch up. Basically, we have to catch up at the beginning of the war, more or less, where that first invasion of villains happens at the hospital. Shigaraki is near complete, then gets woken up early. Now, there is a significant change in this scenario, and that is Mirio is the one now with a one for all. He also can't get his quirk back from Eri in this version, because if he did, she'd rewind him past the point of having one for all. And it's a real good question. If you were to somehow rewind someone past the point of one for all, from having one for all, would that just erase the quirk, or would that return to the former user? Like, for example, if in this case, because All Might's alive, would that return it to the former user? Would turn to All Might? Or if, say, it were to be used on All Might and Nana Shimura. If Nana is dead, then does that just fizzle the quirk out of existence? That's a dangerous prospect, and it's why Mirio in this version can't get his quirk back. He's got to just have one for all. Now, luckily, he's probably been disappeared for a little while, training his ass off with one for all. And because he's quirkless now, he shouldn't. Now, maybe because he did have a quirk, maybe it would work a little differently. I don't know. We haven't seen that and won't see that with one for all. But because he doesn't have a quirk, he should, in theory, be susceptible to the same scenario that happened with Deku, including talking to the former vestiges, starting to gain their quirks as well. And because of how hard Mirio works, not to say that Midoriya doesn't work hard, but because Mirio maybe got taken out of school temporarily and started to train super hard, maybe he's training with Gran Torino too, he probably is a little farther ahead, even though he's had it for less time. He's probably a little farther ahead on this than Midoriya, because Midoriya had to struggle for so long to figure out one for all. I think Mirio could be a little bit more inherently attuned to it. Plus, because of because of when it's happening, the stakes are increasing higher and faster more quickly. That's oxymoronic, but whatever. You know what I meant. So maybe they kind of skipped the spinning wheels on it and kind of really rushed it a little bit. So Mirio probably has ended up breaking his body a couple times, but with Recovery Girl there and healing him up when they needed her, which I'm sure she did, he's probably quickly learned what his limitations are and when to push past them. So he's probably where Midoriya is at this point in the series, if not maybe a little beyond it. And he almost certainly has Black Whip. I'd be willing to bet because of his personality, he has Float. He might even have Danger Sense at this point. I definitely don't think he has Gear Shift, Fajin. Doesn't have those. We'd have to wait to see those. But Fog is, there's no real reason he'd have Fog. Midoriya didn't have Fog at that point, but still. That being said, though, another interesting, let's call it trade here, is Shigaraki's relationship with Midoriya. Because obviously they were kind of the next generation of All Might and One for All. Or say All for One. I always do that. All for One. They were the next generation, and obviously All for One's plan was to take over Shigaraki's bodies, all that. But they were the equivalents in their era for that. And so because of that, they were kind of connected, like by fate, to some degree. But that's not the case. Midoriya doesn't have One for All here. So Shigaraki shouldn't really have a huge interest in him. But because he's seeing Midoriya a couple times, because Midoriya has always kind of like tried to at least live up to the standard that All Might presents, he does see Midoriya, would I say as a threat? Maybe not as a threat, but he does see him as someone, I'll say threat. I'll say moral threat. That's a better way to put it. He's a moral threat. And he's powerful enough to give him a fight. Maybe not beat him straight out, at least not without complete Hyōrinmaru, but he is strong enough to give him a serious fight. So when you cut to Shigaraki awakening and looking for One for All, he can't find it. He does see Midoriya though, and he just instead saying, Midoriya, please hand over One for All. Instead of doing that, it's more along the lines of, Midoriya, you tell me, you wouldn't happen to know where One for All is, would you? It's like, I won't let you get Mirio. Oh, so that's the guy who has it now. And Deku's like, crap! And Baku just scolds him. Why'd you tell him that, idiot? Actually, to be fair, Deku wouldn't know, so I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, that's right. All Might probably didn't tell you about that. I bet you don't even know who the real wielder is yet. But Deku's smart enough to figure out it's Mirio, because he remembered talking to Mirio. He's like, All Might said he maybe worked something out. It's like, Mirio? That kid who could phase through stuff. Real sucks about the quirk, but that probably made him primed to get all for one, or One for All. So thanks. Now let me see here. No, he doesn't seem to be around here. And then all of a sudden, ice comes out right over the frozen heaven. It's like, I'm not gonna let you touch him, Bankai! Hyōrinmaru! So that's the way it's gonna be. And he just decays the ice. This will give me a good test drive. Unfortunately, we know Eraser was there too, staring directly at him. So very quickly, the fight turns into, why can't I use my... Oh, Eraser, you're so damn cool. And so Bakugo and Midoriya are just laying into him. Bakugo is unfortunately countering a bit of the ice that Hyōrinmaru is throwing out because he's blowing it up. But still, they are laying into him, and obviously Endeavor roasts his ass. And then, well, actually, I can see Endeavor showing up. He's like, you kid, Midoriya, get out of the way. I'm gonna annihilate him. Wait, I have an idea. So, Yurio Senkai. Just stars and check. This won't hold me forever. No, now Endeavor. Prominence immolation, or prominence burn. I like immolation better, but burn. And because of, again, same thing that happened with Shoto, and Endeavor realizes he did the same thing he did with his fight with Shoto. The ice and the fire, the extreme temperatures cause a massive explosion, which severely injures Shigaraki even more so than he got in the original. He's probably might even be missing an arm. He's like, damn you all. But then he obviously tosses out the bullet, hitting Eraserhead brain block. It's like, no matter how tough you are, you're still gonna flinch from this. And unfortunately, he does start to heal up. Now, can he just regrow an arm? He wasn't complete at this time. He's, hey, wait, what day is it? He wasn't complete at this time. So, could he regrow a limb at this point? That's a good question. We don't actually see him lose a limb at that point. Now, complete Shigaraki? Oh yeah, he can regrow a limb. He was literally growing limbs on his body without needing to regrow limbs. So, mostly finger hands, but still. And just he wore like finger armor. It was cool and weird all at once. But, that being said, I don't know if he could regrow a limb. If he could, it'd probably be a little slower than just regenerating. And so ultimately, like, they're squaring off, and they're on the losing side of the fight. But Deku ultimately gets to the point where he can use his technique to try to freeze him up. The clouds open up, starts snowing him. Please, get these off! And it just freezes him in place. And then it just all decays. Like, wow, so that's the thing you use to help take down overall, isn't it? Unfortunately, my decay's evolved since then. I don't even need to use my hands. I couldn't use my feet if I want. Looks like you're running out of options, Midoriya. Not quite, Midoriya. There's still one thing. It's like, I don't want to kill him though. It's like, Midoriya. There's gonna be then will you let other people die? Heroes don't kill. That's true, Midoriya. But, and then I'm just getting a Hyōrinmaru voice here. We've barely heard Hyōrinmaru speak. He does have a voice. I think there's a bit more of a grumble to it, but not by much. But Midoriya, you will have to make a choice. Your convictions or the innocent. And so ultimately, though, it's like, you want me? It's like, power! So that's where you are. You're gonna have Mirio. It's like, sorry, Midoriya, it took me so long. It's like, he's already hit 40%. And All Might's probably looking on. Yeah, I knew it was too soon for him to go. He's only hit 40%. Anymore, he's gonna start breaking his body. And sure enough, he's got to go all out against Shigaraki. Meanwhile, Midoriya is helping out, like trapping him in ice. Like, this isn't gonna work. And Wolf for a distraction. Just boom, Mirio smashing in him using Black Whip, using Float. He is just going to town on Shigaraki. And Shigaraki is in a very losing state right now. In fact, I believe, oh God, I don't have every volume of My Hero. Once I get around this point, I should probably at some point get all the other volumes if I can. I can't remember if he left because he was losing or because he just wasn't complete. I think it was more because he wasn't complete. It's like, and eventually Gigantomachia shows up. They have to hold him down. And Shigaraki would eventually turn tail and run. It's like, you're not going anywhere. It's like, Mirio, no, you can't move. It's like, damn it. Well, this sucks. Don't worry, though. Getting stronger every day. And, Recover Girl just smacks him. You can't keep doing that just knowing I'm here. Your body has limitations, Mirio. Don't worry, I'll just get even stronger. And Deku's just looking on. It's like, well, you okay? He'll be fine. Oh my, did you give him your quirk? It's like, And so the truth is pretty much out about One for All. Yes, but I did honestly at some point. Let me scroll. Let me go backwards here a little bit because I'm stuttering all over myself here. Oh my listening. The truth is, yes, I did. It needs to be passed down to user to user. I was hoping to find a worthy candidate when I came here to UA. And after Night Eye's passing, I felt Mirio was the best, and the loss of his quirk, Mirio was the best option. I was like, well, no wonder he said, that's what he meant when he said you and him had talked about something. Yes, I felt he could be the best possible candidate for his successor. Well, at least one of the best. And Midoriya's like, what? What do you mean? To be honest, there was a point I was heavily considering bringing you into the equation, Midoriya. It's like, me? Why me? I mean, I already have a quirk. True, you do, and a powerful quirk at that. But having a powerful quirk doesn't necessarily detract you from being a successor. It's because it has nothing to do with your quirk, Midoriya. It has to do with who you are as a person. When I look at you, I see the heart of a real hero. And Midoriya just like his tears kind of freeze a little bit. So you don't get the vigilante arc here, which is very important. Now, granted, we also know that the whole cities and whole kind of culture in Japan's outlook on heroes dimmed very greatly. I'm using that dimmed as the best word possible. They went sour on heroes for a little bit, which even caused, I believe, it was Death Arms to retire until he came back to help people. So what that still happens here, but Midoriya is not giving up. Now, we still get the jailbreak, so we know Nagat is released. Overhaul can't do a damn thing, which was kind of like a pointless thing to do. Bring him back when he can't do a damn thing. And Muscular got released. But Muscular, I'm going to be honest, probably still screwed because Midoriya wrecked his shop with his muscles. Like, he literally froze his muscles off. He still got muscles, honestly, but they're just torn. He does not have the physical strength. He can't even use his quirk properly. So he's kind of a non-threat. But Lady Nagat and some of those other heroes were not, villains were dangerous as hell. So there's definitely time in between. Now, because of that time in between, Midoriya still trains harder. Everyone's training harder. Mirio's probably even pushing himself beyond his limits again. And his optimism probably does, similar to Midoriya, he sounds like someone who probably would be able to persuade the second user and the first user, or second and third users of One for All. I said first and second earlier, but Fajin and Gearshift. I do think those are definitely on the table. If not, yeah, he would probably persuade him. Now, granted, he's not as... Mirio's a little more upbeat than Midoriya is, certainly, so that might detract him. It might take a little longer, but because he's focusing on nonstop training with them, with his quirk right now, classes aren't really an important thing at the moment. I think he still gets there. So, when the attack happens, and everyone gets split up, Midoriya is initially there to help him with Shigaraki, but then Toga, obviously, they get separated. Toga, obviously, was like, no, Deku, I love you! Let me drink your blood. No. And so he has to, Bankai out of there. It's like, we gotta get to Mirio as fast as possible. You don't think you can handle it? It's not that. I just don't want to take the chance. If Shigaraki's as powerful as they're saying he's become, then we're in a serious we got a serious problem. And they got to fly. And it's like, I wish I could go faster. I'm sorry, this is as fast as my Bankai will allow us to travel. Meanwhile, Mirio is duking it out with Shigaraki. That's probably going about as well as Midoriya's did, and so he's kicking Shigaraki's ass, more or less. But ultimately, it still starts to become a bit of the losing side of the fight, even though he's pushing himself. All Might and All for One have their interaction with All for One showing up. But Midoriya shows up at that point, too. Now, we also know that he got One for All got taxed into just turning into nothingness. But I think Mirio does the same thing. That Midoriya did. He's talking to the users of One for All, transferring a bit of the quirk in there, starting to break down his psyche a bit. But Shigaraki also sees Midoriya. You're here too. Perfect. I can kill you both. And so he ultimately starts attacking him. Midoriya is aiding with his ice, so he's taking Shigaraki. He's taking him. Think words here. I just blanked on what I was going to say there. Shigaraki's taking damage from Midoriya, and his Bankai is almost at its limits for the petals, which does mean complete Bankai coming up. But more to the point, Mirio, Deku looks at him and just sees the scared kid, and he wants to help him. Mirio's trying his best. Unfortunately, he does lose his arms. So, just as Midoriya did. And this does allow, and so Mirio tries to help, but he's not really able to get into his psyche that well. Let me put it this way. He's not really able to help him in the same way as Midoriya could, which unfortunately does lead to All for One taking him over again. I am the Demon King, and this is over. And Midoriya's just looking on and just sees Mirio just broken. He sees Shigaraki is just gone. And he just looks up and just grips his sword. And it's like, and the final petal's getting ready to go. It's like, Izuku Midoriya, that's right. I remember you. You were also a favorite of All Might's, weren't you? But that means nothing now. It's like, you're right. It does mean nothing now. Just at the moment, there are no heroes and villains. They're just people trying to fight for a better world. And so you're planning to kill me, Midoriya. Is that it? I remember what the dub for All for One's voice is, but in that voice, I have no idea what it'd be. Would it be Shigaraki's voice, All for One's voice, or a mix of the two? I'm going a bit deeper here, just for dramatic effect. I am the Demon King. Because otherwise, it's more like this. I am the Demon King. That's not bad. I am the Demon King. Yeah. So be it. So, wait, does that mean you intend to kill me? Very unhero-like of you, Midoriya. It's like, I already told you right now, in the final pal shatters, there are no heroes and villains. And just, and ice just in a cold, rush of cold air just kind of like blasts off him. Mirio's watching as, obviously Shigaraki, Eraserhead comes through, stabs him with Ares' horn, and just grows his arms back. All right, Midoriya. No, it's like, thanks, I've got it from here. But it's like, he just kind of looks on, and you can see the change up. So you've lost the amount of ice you have. I don't really see that as being much of an upgrade. Goodbye. And the Midoriya just swings his eyes and just freezes some oncoming attacks, and he's pointing at his eye, pointing his sword at him. 4 seconds. 4 seconds. Well, it's like, what? That's how long you had, or have. Because he said that it only takes 4 seconds to say a sentence, really. 4 seconds. So it's like, let me time that. It's like, 4 seconds. 4 seconds to what? You had 4 seconds. And shit, all of a sudden, flash freezes his limbs and his body. Just flash freezes, and then just, what? My sword, Hyōrinmaru, my sword holds the quirk of my ancestor. Together, while I've been able to grow my quirk stronger as I get every time I hold it, it is the complete form of my power. the power over ice and weather, and at its full power, I can flash freeze anything in an instant. As long it just takes me 4 seconds, and the limbs just fall off. He's kind of falling around. Please, you really think that will do any? What? Why aren't I regrowing? It doesn't just. I told you I can. You weren't listening, were you? I can freeze anything. I can freeze anything. Any matter in my way will freeze, and any effects that matter has are nullified. That includes all the quirks currently stored within you. Now, this would be a very good question about complete Hyōrinmaru, which, as I said, can literally freeze all matter on a molecular level pretty much instantaneously after 4 seconds. And it negates and nullifies any ability that item, that matter had. If you were to freeze, say, let's use one for all here, or all for one. If you were to freeze that, like just his limb, are you freezing off all of his abilities because he's connected to that limb? Or do you got to freeze his core or him in his entirety? Like, for example, with Gerard, that was a very unique scenario because he literally makes the impossible possible. And if you can't destroy the medallion, you can't destroy him. So that's a very unique scenario there. But with just a biological being, I'd have to assume some of that has to play a factor. And so Midoriya just freezes his lower half right up there, but doesn't freeze his heart. I can't. What is this? And then get out of my head. This isn't your body. It's Shigaraki. Hey, just Midoriya's holding it there, and Shigaraki's in there. Midoriya. Just end it. I mean, what I've lived long enough, and I've hated every moment of it. This world wasn't meant for people like me. Me. Do what you have to do, hero. And hero, you'll have to live with it, though. Of course. He kind of laughs at it, but he is being sincere because he was like, tell what was it? Oh crap! What was the lizard's name? The guy with the lizard quirk's name. Oh, crap. Toga. It was Toga, Dobby, Twice. League of Villains. Okay, hold on. League of Villains. League of Villains. League of Villains. Why am I blanking on his name? It is driving me crazy, and the minute I see it, I haven't had to think of his name in a while, because he's never really a main player in these stories, is he? Okay, what was his name? What was his name? All right. Spinner! That was it, Spinner! Compress isn't there at the moment, obviously, but Spinner, that's it. Tell Spinner. He fought to the hardest to me. And Midoriya just kind of gives up, and obviously one for all for one, just like, no! And just freezes him. And so ultimately the Demon King is vanquished, and it still would be Deku who does it. It did become Mirio's story a little bit there, but it would, I think, be Deku who ultimately delivers the final blow here. And so the day is shaved. Deku, I think, though, still becomes a hero, and he's a hero and a teacher too. So now, by the way, how that kid with who just manifests plates on his head could become a hero. Look, I appreciated Deku. I appreciate the optimism and all that, but how? Please share with me how this kid is able to be a hero. Maybe if he learns to manifest his quirk at full power, awaken his quirk, and just throw plates at people. Okay, that's some offensive capabilities there. Maybe he's literally, but I mean, apart from just setting tables, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm being legitimately honest here. What's that kid's quirk going to do in a battle? I don't know. Anyway, so that would pretty much be it. I mean, Mirio would still, I think he could still be a hero. Honestly, the question is, if you are a person who lost One for All, and Eri used her quirk on you, would you regain One for All? That is something a lot of people speculated was going to happen with All Might. That Eri would use her quirk to rewind himself back to when he had his quirk. But I think in that case, then Eri, because we know she was able to, or Eri, sorry, I keep saying Eri, it's pronounced Eri, would still be able to gain her, because we know she still grew her horn back, would probably be able to rewind him enough to get his quirk back. Probably. It'd just take a little longer, that's all. So he'd still be the number 1 hero. Although Deku probably does place now on the charts. I don't know. Maybe, well, who was the new number 2 and 10? Like, I think Bakugo was like number 7 because he was, My Hero, the new top 10 heroes. The new top 10 heroes in My Hero. Oh, no. The new top 10. Okay. And who was it? It was, Mirio was number 1. Shoto Todoroki was number 2. That's right. Mount Lady was still in the top. It was still doing her thing. She was still number 3. Kamui was number 4. Best Genius was number 5. Mirko was number 7. Good for her. Nejiri Hado was number... Wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mirko was 6. Sorry. Nejiri was number 7. Washi Wash. Really? He was still looking good for him. Was number 8. Mezu Shoji was also known, was number 9. And Monoma was actually number 10. So you kick Monoma out, F him. But no, seriously, you kick him out. And where would I place Midoriya? Because he teaches, I think it maybe hurts him a little bit. I would say he's probably the number 3. That's what I would think. Otherwise, though, that is the end of What If Midoriya Had a Zanpakuto, the Hyōrinmaru edition. We'll be back with plenty more of those later, but right now, I gotta pre-record now the Naruto one, or record the Naruto one. And when it's all said and done with the videos, I gotta put the poll up for the Devil Fruit Deku video, because that's what we're gonna do. The way we're gonna do it is we're gonna do 3 My Heroes. Then I'm gonna do 3 non-My Heroes, be it Dragon Ball or whatever. Then I'm gonna do the 2 Zanpakuto and Devil Fruit My Heroes, then back again, and then we'll do it again. So it's going to be a little longer to get to more Devil Fruit and Zanpakuto Deku videos, but I think that's a good balance. Someone did ask, why don't you just make a separate channel for Dragon Ball Z What Ifs? That just kind of defeats the point. It's honestly, if anything, it's actually giving me more work, because A, I got to make a new channel. Then I got to move all my Dragon Ball shit over there, which I'm not even sure if I know how to do that. I'm not very tech savvy. That's more of Mark's department. And then I gotta now be redoing Dragon Ball What Ifs on that channel while I'm doing the My Hero What Ifs on the other channel. So it just kind of defeats the point. If anything, it's just giving me more work. So yeah, I'm not going to be making any second channels anytime soon. Anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. See you later.